Hey everyone, Susan Black here. Did you notice the title of the Facebook Live? Does anybody know what day it is? It's kind of like the point of life that I'm living in too with the pandemic. I have no idea what day it is, what time it is, what month we're in, but today is Saturday. Today is June 20th, and it's also the summer solstice. That means it's the day with the longest amount of daylight. Now, what makes this day significant? Well, the Alzheimer's Association has kind of coined this day as the longest day. And if you know anything about Alzheimer's disease, you can have some really long days as a caregiver. So the Alzheimer's Association has coined the June 20th, the summer solstice, as the longest day to bring awareness to people about Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease, their color of awareness is purple, so I am wearing purple today. But there's some pretty shocking statistics out there about Alzheimer's disease. Let me know in the comments below if you have been personally affected by Alzheimer's disease. Do you have somebody in your family? Do you have good friends? Do you have a coworker maybe who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease? Because I think it affects more people than we really realize, because a lot of people don't talk about it. Did you know that there's 50 million people worldwide that have Alzheimer's disease? 50 million. They're thinking that in 10 years, in the year 2030, the number's going to increase to 75 million people with Alzheimer's disease. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. And the really, I guess, staggering statistic is the fact that there's 16.3 million people in the United States who are acting as some sort of caregiver for somebody with Alzheimer's. So 16.3 million people are affected in that way, either emotionally, physically, financially from this disease, because it affects you in each and every way. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, my mom's mother, had Alzheimer's, and she ended up passing away from Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. My mother had Alzheimer's, and I really think she was probably diagnosed before the age of 65, which they call early onset Alzheimer's disease if you're diagnosed before the age of 65. And that's what my husband has. My husband started showing the first signs just shortly before his 50th birthday, and we got the official diagnosis around age 55. So you bring the awareness to the disease, but what do you do? What can you do about it? Well, right now, the only thing that we can really do, because there's not a cure for it, is to participate in research. Because research is where we're going to find that cure one day, or we're going to find that treatment. And Pete did participate in a research study at the University of Alabama in Birmingham for 2 years. It was an IV infusion that he got every other week, and he really didn't want to do it, but I convinced him to do it because I wanted an official diagnosis. Because it was hard to get a diagnosis when you're younger, because they'll blame it on stress, or they'll blame it on poor sleep, or different things like that, when I knew it was more than that. So the only way to get an official diagnosis right now is you could do it with a lumbar puncture, which we tried that, and it was not successful. And of course, I didn't want to put Pete through that again. And then also a PET scan. And so Pete did have the PET scan of his brain, and it did show that he had numerous areas of plaque in his brain. So we were able to get the official diagnosis. Okay, so once you get the official diagnosis, what's the benefit of that? Like I said, you can participate in research, because research is really what we can do to help the future generations. Now, there was another arm of the research study that was ongoing now, but Pete didn't want to participate in it. He really didn't want to participate in the first one, like I said, so I wasn't going to force him, so that was fine. I felt like he did his part by participating in the research. The other important thing is to get your finances and your legal papers in order. Now, everybody should do that anyhow, but it's very important if you're going to get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, because cognitively you can't make the best decisions, and perhaps by the time you realize that, it's too late to get paperwork signed, and then it requires a court situation, legal situation. So I would encourage everybody to get their finances and their legal papers in order, and we did that several years ago. And then also just to get out and enjoy life. And everybody should be doing that, because oftentimes I think we say, oh, well, when I retire, I'm going to do such and such. When I retire, I'm going to travel the United States. I'm going to visit all the national parks. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring for any of us, but especially with Alzheimer's and with us with early onset Alzheimer's disease, we can't do those things. Long trips are difficult. Even overnight trips can be difficult. So you need to get out and enjoy each and every day, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring for any of us. But today is considered the longest day, the day to bring awareness to Alzheimer's disease. So that's, I feel like, is my goal and my mission right now, is to bring awareness to Alzheimer's disease, especially to the early onset, the younger onset Alzheimer's disease, because it is affecting a lot of people, a lot more than you know. It affects people in their prime of their life. This should be the point in our life now that we're empty nesters, and that we should be enjoying life and making the most money we possibly can at this age too. But we both had to retire, and we can't travel like we want to. But I just wanted to bring the awareness that today is summer solstice. It is considered Alzheimer's longest day. And just to reach out to people that you know that do have Alzheimer's, because oftentimes they do get lonely, or people don't know what to say or what to do, and so they start to just not visit anymore. So I encourage you all to reach out to somebody who does have Alzheimer's, and if you are a caregiver or if you're affected, please reach out to me, because the more support we have from each other, the better. So until we meet again, remember to enjoy your journey.